Dis Unlimited proudly presents.
Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Dis Unlimited podcast, coming to you live from the studio that dreams built. I'm your host Rhino, joined by It's the Humidity, Hannah Anderson.
Oh, hey.
And Rip It and Stick It King himself, Craig Williams.
Oh, let's rip this and stick this.
I don't care for that.
Well, I apologize. I am
Coming out hot
I'm coming
here.
in hot today because
Oh.
I barely made it here from a media event. I had to replace 2 microphone cords before we got started because they shorted out with our new microphones, and I'm sure there's going to be about 10 other things that go wrong along the way. So let's just rip this and stick this.
I do apologize if I start leaning in and out of this mic and Craig has to tell me to back up, because for so many years he was like, your lips need to be on the microphone, and he's moved this away from my mouth more than once. So apologies while we adjust to our new and improved equipment.
That's
here.
right.
Very nice. Welcome.
Yeah.
You sent me a text message with a picture that said, welcome to the 20th century.
No, I said welcome to the 21st century,
Oh.
and I'm already like stressed with this. I was by myself in here yesterday because you were in Texas, and Hannah was
Yeehaw.
wherever
doing my
Hannah
thing.
goes, and so I'm like having to try to like test each mic, and I'm like, oh man, this needs more bass to the voice, and I'm like, no, that's just for my voice. So this is going to
It's
be
all
all
about
over
that
the
bass.
place today. Sorry, we're going to be popping a lot. We're going to be humming. We're going to be drumming. We're going to have a good time talking Disney, huh? Is that what we're here
Agreed.
for?
Disney.
Heck yeah.
Disney. All right. Well, before we get started with that, I want to remind everybody that the Dis Unlimited podcast is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Booking with them costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce here. So, for a free obligation,
Yeah, you
for
are
an obligated quote.
But it's free.
No, for a free no obligation quote, head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And this podcast is also brought to you by our amazing Patreon supporters. If you want some exclusive behind the scenes content or access to our post-show live stream, you can head over to patreon.com/disunlimited to learn more. And yes, we will be doing the post-show immediately following this
Post-show.
live show. You know the name.
We got to stop saying the P's. I keep hearing the pop in, and I'm like, this is driving me nuts. How many more P's than we got? No more
Hey,
hard
the mics
P's.
are working.
I'm
There's
looking.
gonna be
We
more.
got a bag of frozen peas upcoming here. But how's everybody doing? I know.
Good.
Craig did just say I just got off an airplane from. I just flew in from Texas and from Austin, and boy, are my arms tired.
Dang it, I was going to say it.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I just flew in from EPCOT, and boy, are my arms tired.
I just flew in from Starbucks. I feel all right.
Well, we've got some news to chat about today, so I think we're just gonna dive
do
in.
it.
or-
Before we get that,
Police.
All right.
couple
just cut
quick
my
things.
joke off that you wrote.
You're welcome. Hey, you were on an airplane. I didn't know if you were going to write your own jokes today. No, I just wanted to, of course, right off the top, if you're enjoying this already, hit the thumbs up for us here, watching this on YouTube, and make sure you do subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified anytime we come at you with a brand new Disney.
Snack attack.
Coming at ya, Cleopatra.
Yeah,
Snack
our
attack ya.
latest Snack Attack
I think
released.
maybe we got a recording studio on our
I
hands.
think so.
No,
at ya,
absolutely not.
Snack
I know. Velvet sessions.
Our newest Snack Attack released yesterday, where we went to try out ice cold hydraulics, and it was awful. So go and check that
Yeah,
out
but you
when
might
possible.
like it.
Not as
You
bad as
might.
the puke waffle, but still not great.
Yeah, it's all over the place with food recently. Check that out. Of course, check out the other shows that we have. We'll have our coverage of Flower and Garden Festival as a dining show
Can't wait.
later this week. We have the Disney Cruise Line show on Saturdays. Connecting with Walt releases as an audio-only show on Fridays, and I think that's kind of the whole lineup. And then the last thing I'm going to throw in here too, I'm going to be running a poll in our live show. We are considering making some changes to the show, as we have been since we relaunched back in October as the Dis Unlimited podcast. And one of the things we never took off the table with our relaunch was the actual day and time that we release the show. And we are legitimately considering moving the live broadcast to no longer being a live broadcast, in a sense, like we'll be in a room and we'll do it together live in the moment, but we're not sold on releasing it right away at that moment, just because we might want to have time to do a little bit more post-production on the show. We so often go on tangents that we don't have materials like ready for like audio listeners, not a problem, but for video viewers, we feel like we can sometimes add a little bit more if we were able to release later. So I want to get an idea from everyone.
You should emphasize that the chat will still exist because you'd be doing it as a premiere episode. So that community of being able to interact and chat would still be there, and we ourselves would be able to participate in that actively.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
So, and everything's on the table right now. Like I already ran one poll with our Patreon supporters with the idea of, hey, what if we let you in on the recordings as they were happening as a Patreon supporter, and then we also will do the chat later on when it releases, so that way everyone has a chance to chime in and get a chance to talk with the team members who will be part of it. So again, nothing is set in stone yet with it, but I do want your feedback. And if you're watching or listening to this later, please email me, Craig@DisneyInfo.com. Use the comments on YouTube to leave us that feedback. You can send it through Facebook on like the Diz Unlimited page, but that's probably the worst place at all. Disboards is a good place. I want to hear everyone's opinion on it, because I know we have a dedicated group that likes watching live and in the moment, but I also know that the majority of people that watch and listen do it after the fact. So I hate that we're never able to interact with anyone while the show's happening because we're too busy recording it. So it'd be a lot easier for us to talk with you if we premiered it and then we can be in the chat. So I'm going to start running that poll for everyone watching live. But again, if you're listening to this later, watching later, let us know. I want that feedback. Sorry, Rhino. I feel like I can say, speaking of Big Daddy.
Back to you.
No, sorry. I'm currently looking at the chat, engaging how people are going and stuff. And I think because we're like, there's always a delay. It's one of those where it's like getting to it, waiting to see where people are like, okay, as long as we can still talk. But we'll see. Like you said, check that poll out. Hannah, you got anything for us or?
No, I say let's jump right into the news. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I love it. I love
Got a heart out.
That's
Okay. Well, there's some interesting news to chat about, and I'm going to repeat myself. We're going to dive right in, or should we say, slowly and safely walk into a wave pool at Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, the year 2025.
Yeah.
The big news this week is the new perk for Walt Disney World hotel guests in 2025. Disney announced all guests who have a resort reservation next year, whether for room only, vacation package, or DVC stay, will receive a complimentary one-day water park ticket valid for their check-in day. If you have back-to-back resort reservations booked, you'll receive a water park ticket that is effective on both reservation start dates. Guests will have the choice between Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon unless one or the other is down for seasonal refurbishment. Reservations for 2025 are now open today, and I feel like we're going to talk about this a little bit. I thought it was really I have a couple of thoughts. I think it's nice. It adds, just reading it on the surface, I was like, wow, that's a big perk for, staying at, we've said it for a while now that perks for staying at Walt Disney World hotels have kind of diminished over the years. And this seems like a pretty big one, right? Seems like one. I don't know how big it is, especially because it's a little restrictive, only being on that first day to check in. However, I look at it like this. So whenever I go to California, whenever I travel, I'm usually on that first flight of the day, which if you're lucky and it's early enough, it's whatever, you're in Anaheim by 11:30. That hotel room isn't ready until 4. So sometimes it's hard. That first day you're there is hard because, especially if there's a time change involved, being in the park till maybe it's 10, 11, midnight, let's say you're 3 hours ahead, it feels very exhausting. And I feel like unless you bought that multi-day ticket where it becomes a little less on your wallet, it feels like not as good of a value as the other days. So this water park thing is kind of nice. I think it's a twofold thing. It keeps people away from the resort being like, can I check in early? Can I check in early?
Yeah.
And then, so it alleviates some of that, but then it also kind of alleviates that pressure of being like, we got to get in and we got to get this all done. I mean, those water parks most of the year close at like what, 5, 7?
Right.
5, somewhere in that range. So
so in slow season, like right now in the winter, the water parks close at 5.
Yeah.
And in the summer, they usually close at 8 o'clock. So it's, your rooms are definitely going to be ready by then. Definitely this time of year, it's hit or miss on whether or not you'd even be able to use the water parks. I mean, even if it's open, you might not want to go and suffer through it. I think this is a bold strategy. I mean, and from one standpoint, it's getting people, something to do without hanging out around the resorts and the hotels. But at the same time, too, I know my family would use the check-in day and check-out day as our opportunity to go to Disney Springs and do all of our shopping and eating around there. So, I feel like I would infuse more money when I'm walking around Disney Springs than I would on maybe getting like a quick service meal at Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach. But maybe they're also seeing sales of the water parks slow down in general and wanting people to remember like, hey, we do have pretty good water parks.
Yeah.
I mean, be outside of the summertime when they're busy.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to. And I think it's kind of interesting that they actually point out if you have a split stay, you can use it on the check-in day of your next reservation. Because my family did split stays a lot when we used to come on vacation. We would check in and do like the first day or two, maybe to Value Resort, and then switch over to a moderate or deluxe. And so actually, like, that's a pretty good strategy now, because that would actually, to me, be the better day to go to the water park, because you're already there. So there's no travel involved. You could like get ready for the water park, take the bus, and then, come back and switch hotels or whatever.
Okay, so the only thing with what you just said is that you can't really do that. You're going to have to do it at the water park. So you got to pack the bathing suit and everything you need for a water park in your carry-on, or some bag that you can get to, and then you would change in a locker room at the water park, I think. Because like,
if you were traveling like down that day, but I think if you're doing like a split stay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you were talking about split stay. I'm sorry.
If you're doing let's say 2 reservations, but is that worth doing a split stay? No. I mean, my initial reaction to this was 2 things. A, I am so happy that Disney is bringing back some sort of value to staying on property, because that has been, I think, sort of the argument for the past several years, really since post-COVID. I think people would have rather Disney brought back the Magical Express, but they have not. The Mirror Sunshine Flyer is the alternative version of that. It is affordable and basically the same service, but for me, that's what clients talk about all the time. They miss Magical Express. So I'm willing to bet people would have rather had that. But again, Disney offering some sort of perk that's included in your stay, and it not having to be a package, I thought was really cool of Disney too, because it does sometimes feel like, well, what about the people who aren't booking a package, who have an annual pass or maybe are buying military tickets, something like that. So that's cool. Second thing is I'm like, 2025 Disney. What else is happening in 2025? We're getting Epic Universe and those new resorts. So I've heard a lot of people.
Oh, I didn't even think of
Yes.
that. I thought you were talking about my 40th birthday.
Yes, that as well. Disney's like,
Yeah.
we're all going to the water park for Rhino's 40th birthday.
I'll be there every day of the year, 365.
That's right. Daisy will be there in a special costume for Rhino's birthday. Just kidding. But I've heard a lot of people say that's been the commentary, is that this is like Disney kind of ramping up to greet that. I think that's like a sad, yay, here's Typhoon
Well,
Lagoon.
they're going to be like, you got a free entry into our theme parks. And I'm like, did we?
Well, I mean, pull one out of Universal's book. Remember when Volcano Bay
I know.
opened? And
That's
they're
what-
like,
yeah.
it's our 3rd gate. And I mean, granted, Volcano Bay is awesome. It's, no offense, way better than Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach combined. I would agree. Argue, whatever.
Wait, I was only half paying attention. Did you say Volcano Bay is better than Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon combined?
Correct. What? You're the universe? I'm not even on the
Don't
Universal
listen.
show.
You can't. Okay, I'm taking this stuff with a grain of
Has
salt.
Rory been to, what's that little...
No, Craig does not like public
Tiki
water
Reef?
parks.
Put on your water shoes and get on over there.
No, so
and your
first
sunscreen.
off, Rory has not been to a water park yet, and Rhino is correct. In general, I don't enjoy bathing in public areas. It's gross.
bathing in the
it's basically bathing. It's basically bathing. I don't like it.
Craig brings his shampoo to the water parks.
So I do have an issue as a chunkier man. I hate that I can only do.
We are body positivity here, Craig.
Well, Volcano Bay is not body positivity. When they weigh you for almost every experience that they do, they're not body positive.
That is true. That is okay.
So I don't like. Really do have a problem with that. I know. With water parks, I understand with their parks, they're doing cutting edge rides that the manufacturer's saying that
don't
this
get on
and
that.
I don't want to get back on that, but I don't want to get back on that. But I'm just saying, but then it's like a water slide. Like, how can you screw this one up? Anyone can do water slides. I can do all the water slides at Disney, and then I go to Volcano Bay, and they're like, nope, sorry, you're too big.
But what about the good? They got better food. Have you ever eaten at Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach?
I will agree on that.
Disgusting. There ain't nothing worth their having.
That's the hilarious part of Volcano Bay.
Food is great.
It's kind of like back in the day when we would turn people away from Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Every now and then we would see the guest satisfaction results, and it would be like, hated that I got turned away from every ride, but really loved the $20 meal deal that let me eat all day. That was fantastic. And it's no, I think the theming at Volcano Bay is great. I do think they have some really good slides. Krakatoa is better than the water coaster at Typhoon Lagoon, in my opinion. But I don't know. I still I think I like Typhoon Lagoon best. And then probably Volcano Bay. Blizzard Beach is last for me.
Here's the thing though, Craig. I feel like the further we get into this, the more I'm like, well, I guess you're going to have to go. I guess we're going to have to go.
He doesn't have water parks in his past.
Of what you want. Well, there you go.
So it looks like you and me are going. Yeah.
Listen, I know. Are we going to Summit Plummet?
Rhino fan?
Girl, no. I did it once. I did do it once.
I lost my phone to that wave pool at Typhoon Lagoon. So
it turned my Audi into an innie, and I didn't care for it.
Well, I just learned a fun fact about you. We're talking too much about our bodies
today. Took you a second
to
figure out what I was talking about, didn't it?
My mom watches this show.
She's in the chat right now.
I know.
Chris Williams, you're welcome.
Aw, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I thought
you don't have support with your work?
No, nobody's in the chat for me right now.
Okay, well, sorry.
Steve Porter in there? Somebody who knows me?
Yeah, Steve
Okay,
is in
hey,
there.
Steve.
Don't worry. Steve's in there.
I don't got anybody in the chat for me. It's fine.
Actually, Steve was there when I lost my phone to the wave pool. Typhoon Lagoon, rest in peace. Rest in power.
I am curious what your thoughts are. We don't have to talk about this ad nauseum, but for me, I feel like this almost has, and I saw somebody else say it online too. What do you think the life of these two parks is? Because if they're worth a free one-day ticket to people staying at Walt Disney World parks, it to me says they don't give away stuff that they think is worth. You know what I mean? Not to be cynic or whatever, but it says to me that I don't know that these parks are going to be around forever.
They need some TLC.
I disagree with that. I think this solely comes down to Disney is hearing the message loud and clear that people are upset that it feels like they're spending more money, and we're going to talk about that in a second. They're spending more money and they're getting less from it than before. So this is an easy way to throw something at that no one is really going to take it. I mean, people are going to take advantage of this.
Not the majority.
I don't think the majority is going to take advantage of it. There are so many factors that can play into it. Bad weather, flight delays. In the summer, the parks are open later. Oh, we get in at 12 that day. It's going to be great. We'll be able to get over. Well,
guess what's happening? Lightning.
Yeah, the lightning that rolls in at 3 o'clock and rolls in through
every
6 o'clock. You're not going to the water
guys.
park. So it's one of those things. I feel like this is it's a half perk. It's giving it to you, but there's read the fine print because Florida is an unpredictable nightmare, and you probably won't actually get anything from this, but it's still available to you anyways.
Well, if you want to plan your next Florida nightmare, Dreams Unlimited Travel. So I will put on my travel agent cap for a second. Today is 2025 packages or resort reservations.
What does Tobias say?
Open for Walt Disney World today. This is earlier than they released them last year, which I'm very thankful for. I know we're going to dive into prices and stuff a little bit more, but so far what I've seen is not for the resort stays are pretty on par with this year. I've priced a couple of Pop Century packages that I was pleasantly surprised. So I don't know. I feel like I'm just glad that Disney is listening. Hopefully, this is just a taste of some of what's to come. But yeah, I think this is going to like put somebody over the edge. Like, oh, hey, we weren't going to go to Walt Disney World. Now I'm going to go to Typhoon.
No, I
Lagoon
think it's for the
free.
regular people that come.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. But
To try
hey,
something new if they didn't,
Yeah.
Yep. Oh
It's
no!
something.
It's also given them that taste, and maybe they'll want to add
First taste is free.
Add the water park sports and water park option on. What? That's $70 a day, and
Yeah.
you get it for as many days as your park ticket. So that's that's a way to get people in that door.
I'm just going to pivot a little bit. You know what I was thinking about this time of year? Did anybody ever go to the Brave spring training they used to have at White
yeah.
World Sports? That was such a good time. I wish like some minor league, major league baseball team, farm league, whatever would come back. That would be a good time. So
I know.
anyways.
Disney needs to come up with like their own Savannah Bananas and just like,
Yeah.
a comical thing. Take all the people from Hoop-de-Doo and since they're give them the morning, make them play baseball in the morning, tell their jokes, have fun, and then do acrobatics. And then at night, they need to go sling chicken while singing "Oh My Darling."
I'd do it.
Listen, I'm looking at the Leaning Palms menu right now, Typhoon Lagoon, and there's some interesting dining options over here. There's Tinga de Pollo. There's this Island Crunch Chicken Sandwich, a Cuban flatbread pizza.
Okay, I mean, it sounds good.
There's a chicken rice ball.
Have you guys, I mean, last time I ate there, I was like, my gosh, I cannot believe. And then Disney Springs is right across the street. So that's the other thing. It's like,
I'm not
get
going
you an
sopping wet to Disney Springs.
change. They got nice changing rooms, but I've done it.
Nothing I would want more in the world than to go to Earl of Sandwich as I'm soaking wet.
Listen, people are going to do it, okay? Don't be judging.
Chicken ga. Pizza ponte.
All right, well, on to our next
Floppy
bit of
pizza.
news here, which is we have our first Mickey's not-so-shocking news of the day. The price of tickets of $119 per day for Animal Kingdom in August and September. And on those cheapest days, Magic Kingdom is $144. Epcot is $129 and Hollywood Studios is $139. Peak pricing for one-day park tickets appears to peak at $189 for Magic Kingdom, $184 for Epcot, $184 for Hollywood Studios, and $169 for Animal Kingdom. Park Hopper obviously jumps the price up even more, and the addition of Genie Plus. In terms of multi-day tickets, the price didn't increase too dramatically, but any price increase is going to be seen negatively right now in a time of Disney feeling like it's too expensive. And I'm just like...
You're like, I'm stressed over how expensive this is.
$189? I mean, I get it. Magic
I
Kingdom
know.
has a lot to offer, but $189? Like, I know that stuff's always going to go. Was there a year where tickets didn't increase? Has that ever happened in the history of this company?
Not in this
I don't
economy.
actually know.
I don't know either, but I doubt it.
I don't know. Like, I can only follow in terms of like, since I moved here, like being that close to it. But I feel like in 2007 when I moved here, it still was like $65 or $70. I mean, I could be way off. It was definitely well under $100 for a one-day, one-park ticket. That was the
So,
same price at all parks.
I'm gonna sound like I'm defending Disney and like
she
listen.
likes to spend her money.
I do like to spend my money, okay? And listen, I'm usually not the kind of girl who will defend Disney. Like, take the good with the bad. I love it, but my eyes are open. And two arguments there. I priced out Universal 2-day park or park to park 2 days with Express Pass. It was during Thanksgiving week. $400 is what that costs. So I think
Wait, for one ticket?
for 2 days, one person, park to park with Express Pass, $400.
Well, Universal, you're saying.
Universal,
Yeah, sorry.
right? So I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, that's kind of. I mean, I think Universal's doing it. Then the other thing is talking about prices like way back when. I remember when my family would come down on vacation in, I don't know, let's say like 2005 ish. We were lucky to get like a AAA discount on the rooms. Like there were no discounts on the hotel room. So like that almost like leads me to question, is it just the economy or is it, I don't know, is it fair?
I'm not saying it's.
I mean, I don't want to pay it.
I'm not
that's
saying.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not saying in defense of Universal either.
Yeah.
I what I'm saying is that's a lot of money for a theme
sure.
park ticket, period, across the board.
For sure.
Like and I don't know. You know, it's
Yeah,
hard. It
well-
is a unique experience, but it's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Universal's 1-day park ticket, unless they've increased it. I think the last time they increased it, it went up to $119 too for your base one park, one
Okay.
ticket. So it's Disney's catching up to them. The thing though is that like with Disney it starts at that, but obviously it could be as expensive as $189 for a day. I mean, really, that's the type of pricing that they're doing, saying, no, just if you're gonna come,
don't come on that
for
day.
one day. Don't
Yeah.
come like
Right,
Well,
right, right.
I mean, the cheapest days though you can only find in August and September, and
you don't
every
wanna
other
come.
month of the year it's way more expensive. So it's like it's again that like. Of course, they're taking advantage of people who are only coming for one day because they can. I mean,
Right.
if you're really that desperate to get in the parks for only one day, then you'll pay it. But at the same time, you have to wonder what happens then when you start getting people saying, you know what? I think I'd rather go check out Volcano Bay, or not Volcano Bay, Epic Universe for the day. Shut
Gotcha.
up. Shut up.
Gotcha.
No, you're not planning that
Now
Inception
he's going to
in here.
Volcano
No,
Bay, too.
No.
Okay.
Stay away from me, Christopher Nolan. It's what happens when you start getting people saying, okay, yeah, I'll go and check out the Universal parks because of that, or, you know, I'll find something else to spend my money on, or just do nothing at all. So that's the only thing that scares me every time that price increase slowly goes up. I mean, it's going to go up. It's inflation. That's
Right.
just the way of it. It's not going back down. And to counter your point too with Universal, because I've already been mean to them once this episode, I'll now be nice to them. The difference with them is, I believe right now their deal is buy a 1-day park ticket, get 2 days free. So they run those promotions
Yes,
all
and
the
Disney
time.
never
and
does.
Disney never does.
Right.
So while Universal, if you look, unless you're truly talking about pricing, like a 1-day ticket versus their 1-day ticket back and forth, you know, you're not going to get that fair comparison, because Universal is almost always running a deal to try to make it cheaper for you, which that is great. And who knows? Disney might have to go that route one day. We might have to see it. But
I mean, I hope they do.
That'll be a cold day and HE double hockey sticks if they have to do that.
Well,
What team plays for them?
I believe the Hartford Whalers.
Oh, they would just say the Devils.
I know.
But anyway, I like to think about it. Okay, I feel, you know, it's things like these where I'm like, it's fortunate that we work. One of the perks of
yeah.
our job is getting this pass, I guess. I mean, we have to be able to do the job, so we need the pass, right?
Right.
But like, you know, 5 years from now, I don't live here anymore. You know, and I think to myself, like 10 years, we'll say, like, you know, and this isn't my job. Am I going to want to pay that much money to come
know.
back and do this? Like, I know we're unique because we've been so close to it. Some of us have worked there. Some of us haven't. Some of us, you know, like, we have different relationships with it, and it feels like very ingrained in me. But if I were to, like, it's not in my next generation of children in my family, right? Like, they've been twice, and my mom was
Right.
like, they can't come. Like, it's too much money.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they're going to grow up and not have that. And it's that thing again where I'm like, you are just
I know.
trying to keep adding those straws till that camel's back breaks. And that's the thing where I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's it. It just becomes a very exclusive place that when it finally plateaus and levels off, it'll be the better experience that they're trying to get to, right? Where they say it's less crowded and it's back to being like a more enjoyable experience. But there are some like real hard and fast looks that need to be taken at the experience of an average day-to-day guest that is spending $189 on a ticket, and how that seems anywhere like
It's sad.
like
I mean,
it just seems kind of like a little bait and switchy sometimes, where I'm like, it's like what you guys like what you guys said, where it's like, yeah, the idea is to push them into multi-day, but it still is like, okay, again, you've said your money is less than those people's money, because like, we don't care about the 1-day experience here. We only care about the multi-day experience. That's what I feel like. I don't know.
and
That's
I
what
think
I'm
that's
starting to-
fair to say. Like, absolutely. And I also think, like, we've seen Disney over like recent years, like, everything is like a special event ticket or an add-on, even just like Genie Plus. And like, I went to an event and they were talking about how like the backstage tours at Disney, like the ones at Animal Kingdom, almost always sell out. So they're like, we don't really promote them because there's never any space. And then it's wild to me, though, because I think that's what's happening with Disney and these back offices is they're just like, well, and I don't know who these people are, wouldn't have been my family, but like, I think that's what's going on. Is it like, they're like, well, we put it out there, the demand is there, and that's, park attendance is down, revenue's up. Like it's been, I feel like we've just been on that trend.
Well, and
like
I think you
a
were
long
right
time
earlier
now.
when you said, is it just the sign of the economy too? And it's like,
Yeah.
I think that is what's merging that
We need
wealth
something
gap.
to go our
Yeah.
ways, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, speaking of Big Daddy, tomorrow is the start of the 2024 EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival. And that means flowers. Flowers everywhere. I can buy myself flowers. Plenty of dishes made of food grown from flowers and in gardens, and animals that eat flowers and gardens. And of course, topiaries. New topiaries, including a rockin' Groot near Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's incredibly adorable. A Wish display as soon as you enter the park, a film I have not yet watched again.
No one has.
Or not at all, period. And the birth of the one and only Figment from the famous new garden area. I
Yep.
think I had a different phrase in here, and I thought maybe I'd take it out.
But,
But,
I mean, you can read between the lines there.
what do you...
It's just so awkward how they also place the flowers
Yeah,
all
it's
around
like-
them, too. Like,
okay, so here's what I'm
it
going to
is
say
the
for our
worst
listening folks.
Sexual metaphor. I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
imagine
Ask the lady in the room.
imagine a flower that is, it's the most beautiful flower that's blooming to the sun. Okay? That's how they used to describe like puberty videos to.
Oh.
Sorry, that's like.
I was like, did you just come up with that on the fly?
No,
I
it's
feel
like a Will
very
and Grace thing
uncomfortable.
where Karen was like, okay, Jack, well, here's the thing. Here's how you do the test. You're in a field, and imagine the most beautiful flower is growing. And then next to that, oh, whatever. She says a word.
Yeah,
And so I was like,
right.
I don't want to say it. I get in trouble for saying parts of the body all the time. So what are you guys most excited for? There. I have a list, quite a list.
Oh, I know.
Going. For me, it's food.
For me, it's food. It's my favorite festival. Like, I just think it just adds another layer to Epcot. Like, I wish it looked like that year round. Like the quilt garden that they do by the monorail. Like, I think that's awesome.
Quilt garden? Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's like the flags.
I just
and
call it the
it's-
nice flower area.
Yeah, the nice flower area, not the Figment one. Okay. No, I think like that's my favorite festival, and I think it offers the best food. Like, same, we were looking through the menus, and I'm excited about pretty much every booth.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get full because Rhino and I went through that list, and I think
No.
20 items.
Rhino and I went through.
Rhino,
the list.
yes. Rhino tried to go through the list of all the food booths with Craig and some of the folks in our Patreon tier. If you're not familiar, if you're not part of our Patreon supporters, one of the tiers that we offer is in the $25 and up tier. Yeah, 25 and up. And
50 and up.
50 and up. I'm sorry. Is that once a month we do a happy hour Zoom, and we started talking about the menu, but I believe the conversation was so overflowing that we only got one booth, but I, in a fit of rage, went through and everything because I was like, no one's listening. Like,
We got like 3 booths. I blame Kylie. She joined in, and then everyone kind of got sidetracked, and it
wasn't.
happens.
We
It
were
happens.
having a great conversation,
Right.
though. It was just that it was. I mean, it was funny because it would be like one thing, and then it would be like on a whole thole thing, and then another thing and a thing. So it was. But it
kinda
was a
our
fun
style.
conversation. It was one of those where I was like, okay, I can't stay on here for forever, and there was like 90 minutes, and I was like, okay, I really have to go to bed. It's like 11 p.m.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
yeah, there's we looked, and I got quite a bit of new food items listed on here, and I know it's lame, but one of the things I'm excited for, and Hannah and I did go through it before you got here, and she brought it up without me instigating her, so
Yes.
don't you dare blame this on me. She said, "Oh, the Swirled Showcase looks interesting."
Yes.
Yo, it's freaking soft serve ice cream.
It's peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter
time.
flavor 1, jelly flavor
Yeah,
2,
we have some
but it
questions
does
about
not list
that.
on the menu that there is a swirl, so
That's
I have
the
to believe there
strangest
is.
thing.
Yeah.
I just love your like, no, you get peanut butter or jelly, not peanut butter and jelly.
It's just like, oh, what? They have this new flavor I've never heard of before. Vanilla.
No,
You heard that?
It's
You
not
seen that? You
like
heard about that?
this time.
Listen,
Okay.
you guys can do
Is
that.
that Scandinavian?
I'm not spending our boss's money on soft serve
Great
soft
How often you
serve
have
ice cream.
grape soft serve ice cream? Tell me
Yeah.
how often you see that
Or
somewhere?
strawberry basil sorbet. That sounds good. Or the liquid nitro honey mask. Wait, why can't I say this?
I'll give you the sorbet. Sorbet
Okay, the
is
cheesecake.
that's I'll give you that one. I won't give you the soft serve though. I will not give you the soft serve. Won't.
You're starting to feel pretentious to me. Like you can have sorbet, but not soft serve. What you eat on Disney cruises? You don't go over there and get you some banana soft serve.
Dude, we eat
she's
Taco
having the
Bell
banana soft.
every week after this show, but I'm pretentious. Lawyered. I'm excited for the Cubanito. That's what I want. More Cuban sandwiches in my life.
Okay.
Oh, you can have a Cuban sandwich, but we
Yeah.
can't have peanut butter and jelly soft serve ice cream?
I legitimately had a Cuban sandwich for lunch today. So,
So you're saying they're readily available in many
yes,
places?
in Florida.
But
yes.
I want to
No.
see if
No.
Disney's making a
Veto.
good one.
Vetoed. But there is some good food. There's some good. I feel like there's actually a lot of interesting beers this year too.
Yes,
Like,
there absolutely is.
you actually brought up a bunch we have on the list that I put on the list. I don't know that he agrees with them or not, but
We don't care.
Like tropical hibiscus, he did say that one too. He
Yes.
was looking forward to that one. There was
Pronounced
like
hibiscus.
excuse me.
You got your hibiscus,
Hibiscus.
you got your low hibiscus, and your mid hibiscus. Those are my favorite plants from the
High,
Jungle Cruise.
low, and what was the other one?
Mid
Mid-biscus. That's breakfast mid-biscuit. I can't say that word. Hibiscus.
I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot. There's like
Yeah.
this lemon drop shandy. That sounds delightful. There's at BrunchCot. There's like this biscuits and gravy with an impossible chicken fried steak.
Ooh,
We're
gotta
gonna try
try
that. That sounds interesting. But
I'm excited. Martini Mom, I saw that there is a lavender martini, and nothing says
Is that-
springtime. Winter.
is that in France?
Oh, I don't even remember. I will find
Because
it.
listen, this is on the bottom of my list here in Fleur de Lis. There's a
Mm-hmm.
Gâteau Aquamant Citron. I don't know how to speak French.
Oh, that must be the frozen
Etine,
one.
And it says
sure.
warm cake filled with lemon, lavender, and thyme-infused cream. So I think we got ourselves a pairing.
Ooh, It's lavender season, baby. Yeah, winter is giving me espresso martinis, and spring is giving me lavender martinis.
I wrote
I'm
down-
very excited.
Yeah. Do you have a food item you were looking for the most?
No, I said the Cubanito. I had a whole list.
We immediately
but
shot him down.
yeah,
No.
I'm not
You
going
poop
with
on our
y'all
ice cream
anymore.
or pooping in your sandwich?
You know what? Y'all can go by yourselves. I expect a highly
blueberry
produced
buckle? Those are
video from it that's turned over for Thursday morning.
That could be
Thank
a snack
you.
attack. I'm just saying.
No, it's not a snack attack. Oh, the ice cream.
there a
Yeah,
soft
you too.
serve?
You can do the soft serve
Beautiful.
separate as a snack attack.
Yeah.
And we'll share
And we'll
one
do a whole
cone.
thing. No, you know how we need to do it? What's that annoying meme that everybody keeps doing, and you and I were complaining about it because no one starts
It's
walking
probably the one I-
until they start
Oh.
recording, where they're like, "We
I'm a
eat at
Disney
Epcot, of course we do."
adult.
Yeah,
I'm
but
yeah.
why aren't you walking before you start? But anyway, and so I was like, we need to do where you're like,
I look
I
like
love
somebody who
peanut
would do one
butter,
of those,
but
I
then we
think.
run into each other and we're like, oh no, you got peanut
Oh, no,
butter
it's
in
a
my
meet
grape.
cute.
Grape in my peanut butter. Anyway, well, enough of that.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I am excited
All
though.
this
I
looks
was
good.
able to see the some of the topiaries today when I was at Epcot. The Groot
Oh.
topiary. I have issues with it. I
Is
get
it?
people love it. It's not a topiary. It's a
Yeah, what
Groot
is it?
statue with
Oh.
some greens growing around
His
it.
foot.
So it's a little bit of a stretch. I'm not I'm not
I
feeling
figured
it.
that.
I'm not
Aren't
digging
all
it.
the topiaries just chicken wire with flowers growing out of them?
I mean, I believe that is in essence what topiaries are.
This is why I don't think I
So-
like Flower and Garden.
What?
It just hurts my nose.
I'm feeling attacked. It hurts your. Oh, you
I
have
think
allergies?
I think I have like a
Take your
triggered allergy.
Claritin,
Yeah, I know.
drink your juice, and
Drink
get
your juice.
over there. So have you guys ever bought one of those little Mickey topiaries that they sell? And it's like they're like yay tall,
No.
and they like are like. I've always wondered, did those actually like work out? I don't have a green thumb, but it has like one vine growing on it, and the hope is that you would have a little Mickey.
I'm sure
Topiary.
some people can get it to work. So I know our friends Bob and Ashley. There was one time
Okay.
where I Bob was a little bit on the he was enjoying his time around Epcot and decided
Lord,
to
this is gonna be
randomly
me.
buy one of the topiaries. I don't think it survived though, because then the next year he was looking at getting another one for a second round. But I'll have to I'll find out.
Okay,
We'll talk
that's my
about that
sign.
off air.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't do it. It's not in Florida. It's not going to live in Florida. That's
I
like
know.
everything. That's why they have to change out the
Everything dies
flowers
here.
so often, because it's a world of death. It's a world of death.
Wow.
It's a small world after all.
Well, when playing your next family disaster, just kidding.
No, I
when
mean,
when
All right.
planning your next family trip to death.
you know how I describe Walt Disney World. It's the place where families come to yell and scream at each other for a full week.
Yeah, but the pictures are great, so everyone wins.
Yeah, it's just you see that kid getting drugged through the park screaming. Oh, Rhino and I did it
Dragged,
for one day.
not drugged.
Do you remember both?
Just
both,
roofied
baby.
in the park.
Both, baby.
Sorry, I shouldn't joke about that. But
yeah, you should not joke about that. Not at all. But were we walking into Epcot that day when that dad was having the meltdown on his son, or was I with Kylie?
No, I was
I don't
with you.
remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said though, but it was like
spent all this money.
It's always money.
Oh yeah,
It's
it just
always.
and it just came out of nowhere. It just all of a sudden the dad's voice was just like, "Listen, we spent this money," and I was just like,
I was a
"What?"
0. And
But it
now
was
I'm
just
at
him
a
and the
10.
kid, and the kid wasn't. And even from like where you were looking, I was like, the kid didn't look like he was crying or
This
doing
is what we're
anything.
gonna do. We're gonna go back to the hotel. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
It's like, take it down at least 100
I
notches.
mean, I've definitely felt that way internally before.
Yeah, but you don't scream at your kid in the middle of a
No.
parking lot at Walt Disney World. And I'm looking at the parking attendants, and they're just like, yep, just another day in
Oh, I
paradise.
know.
I'm like, I think
Yeah,
you
God
should be
bless.
reporting this before they go.
Okay,
the police are right
actually-
down the way.
So, yes, that story. I have seen something similar happen, and I tried to report it in the park, and like,
I've tried
there's
before too. I
not-
saw
there's
some
not much they can do about
abuse
it. It's-
happening, and you're like, unless they saw it,
very
and even then you're like,
disheartening.
okay, well that's unfortunate.
I know. Wow, we are just
Disney
Debbie
World.
Downers today.
Yeah, sorry, Disney World. Well, with the birth of Figment also comes the death of other things, and today,
Speaking of death,
what?
we've been talking about.
Yeah,
death.
we might as well at Walt Disney World, the deathiest place on earth.
I could have thrown in a
about that.
story about death, too, but I wanted to keep this a
Oh,
little bit more
no.
uplifting.
Why did something happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, now you have to. You
Yeah,
just alluded
it's
to
just-
it.
Make it quick.
Technically, Raglan Road's getting a
I saw
lawsuit
it.
against them
Wrongful
because
death
of someone
lawsuit.
with allergies. But I mean,
A
that's-
doctor.
Yeah, a doctor who had a severe peanut and dairy allergy was
Oy.
ultimately served something and went into anaphylactic shock, and very scary. I mean, it's especially at Disney. You think that you're in a bubble,
Yes.
and that's where it is a reminder for everyone that if you are that severely allergic to anything, double, triple, quadruple check, and maybe don't trust everyone.
Oh
even
no,
at the
God,
same
no!
time.
I would never. In a part.
It's-
I know that you can look at the
Yeah.
binders and the things, but when we went to Italy, and I know it's not Disney, but it was on a different cruise line, I realized that I don't think food allergies are treated the same way in other cultures and places
Oh.
and countries, and so I think there's a lot of like people don't think about when they say, "Oh, nut allergy." Like I still don't understand because people were like, "Oh, it's not a tree nut allergy," and I was like, "I don't know where the nuts grow." Yeah, make your
Legumes,
jokes,
peanuts.
but I don't know where I don't know where they grow, and so I was like, I didn't know the difference between one that's in a tree and one that's thing, and then it's wild to me that someone is allergic to one but not the other. But,
That's
like,
me.
So I'm one of those people. Where yeah, you were the one actually. You were the one who told me.
It's about me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can have the peanut butter soft serve. I can't have
But you
pecan
can't.
soft serve. I can
can't
because it's
have
a
all
legume.
I was like,
almonds.
if we wasted this
It's a
whole
legume.
conversation,
It grows on a bush,
I didn't know
not a
that.
tree.
I've
I
never
know.
seen a peanut bush.
Me neither, actually. So it's hearsay, really.
Are pecans bush nuts?
Yes, just like its sister, the pecan.
Oh God, shut up.
A pecan.
All right, well, this has been the Nut Podcast, the nutty.
Brought
the
to you by
nutty
Three
nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Cute.
All right. Well, today's the final day for Soarin' over California, as it's about to revert back to Soarin' around the world tomorrow with the start of the EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival. We've been lucky enough to have the original version with us since last September, but the magic can only last so long before having to endure the bent Eiffel Tower, CGI elephants, and whales. And so it's kind of a bummer. You know what's wild about this is how often it changes back, but then also how long it stays into the other version in both California and here.
Yes.
And it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, why do you guys even show the other video? Like, if you messed up the perspective, you know, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to be like, whoops, why didn't you fix it by now? Now that we know it's all CGI.
Well, I mean,
I
it's
don't
no, it's not all CGI.
The Eiffel
I
Tower
just
is legit.
yeah, it's a real Eiffel Tower. I just don't
think so.
like. I wish they would seriously do like actual good surveys where as soon as you get off the ride, when it's know in both versions where they ask like flat out, ask everyone that will answer, be like, do you prefer this version? Have you ridden both versions? Yes or no? If they say no, let them move along. If they've answered yes, ask which one they prefer. Find out what people would prefer, because for me, I'm Team California.
Absolutely.
Over the world. So I would rather see California just come back for good. I'm glad they spent the money on it. I'm glad they tried to do something different. You don't mess with perfection. I'm more than happy for them to go out and try Soarin' over Florida one day and see if they can nail that. And if they do, I will gladly welcome it. But
They should do the parks. It should be Soarin' around the world at the different parks.
Guys,
That would be
peanuts
cool.
grow underground.
Oh, not in bushes?
Yeah, so
We're all
great.
wrong.
Another thing for people to just
Maybe
be
I'm
like,
not
these people don't know
allergic.
what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm not
that
a
is
nut
true.
expert.
I just want to point out, I did not even comment on
I know.
the nuts.
Did you know that peanuts grew underground?
I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah,
peanutologist.
did you keep
Yeah,
the
but
information
did
from us intentionally?
You know, and let us walk right into that.
I don't care
Thought
about
this was
where
a
my
circle of trust.
I don't care where my food
You'd be a
comes from.
legumeologist, not a peanutologist.
I am a grocery store worker's best friend. I don't care where the food comes from. I just want to eat it.
Grocery store worker's best friend.
I'm a grocery getter.
I don't ask like, is this organic? What farm did this come from?
Everything's organic, right? Because everything on Earth is organic material. Not everything, but
I don't know.
right? Am I wrong?
I
don't
would
know.
believe like the genetically created food is not organic.
Which is like 90%, I think, of what we eat. Is Taco Bell organic?
Absolutely
Asking
not.
for a friend.
I was like, I think it's made out
Does
of old
that
shoes
grow
and belt buckles and
underwater?
stuff. Well, whatever. That's happening.
Water underground.
Team California.
So
West Coast?
finally,
Coast?
the fun thing that was released late last night was Tokyo Disney Resort revealed more information and new looks at their upcoming Fantasy Springs section of Tokyo DisneySea, leaving domestic Disney fans asking, why not us? The new section of that park opens June 6th and includes Frozen Kingdom, Peter Pan's Neverland, and Rapunzel's Forest. Just a quick overview for everybody. Frozen Kingdom will include Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, a 6.5-minute boat ride through the story of Frozen that sounds more thorough than Frozen Ever After because it does include them singing Love is an Open Door, and that is sung by Anna and Hans, and Anna being turned into ice at the climax will also be included in that ride as well. There's also going to be a counter service restaurant in Arendelle Castle called Royal Banquet of Arendelle. Arendelle? I don't know. Arendelle was what I was supposed to say. I don't know why I said it weird. Plus, Oaken's Okay Foods.
Okay.
Okay. Big
Yeah.
summer blowout.
I mean, obviously, this sounds
Gorgeous.
like a nice, well done section of Frozen. It begs the question that we'll probably ask many times throughout this entire thing: why?
Why is it called Frozen Kingdom?
Well, no, I mean, that makes sense to me. The question is, how long is Norway protected before Akershus gets turned into a frozen dining experience on the same level of detail? And obviously, Oaken's Okay, another little counter service quick kiosk thing, that seems like a shoe-in for where you get the school bread at. And so
I think it's when they decide that they're going to finally cease licensing with or partnering with the nations
Norwegians, yeah.
Yeah, I think that ultimately is what it's going to come down to. Because why would Norway pay for that? Why would Norway invest in that pavilion?
But do
right?
we want that to happen? Because remember, like, everybody got all upset, when it was, like, bringing IP. But if we, like, rip the Band-Aid off, so it's whatever now?
I don't know, because the areas over there are so much smaller where it's
Right.
like, I don't think...
Could it handle
I
the
think people who
crowds?
are for it aren't thinking, like, you're not going to get this big grand thing. Like, I mean, how small is Akershus compared to what if you were watching this, what the video showed of that other one?
Yeah, well, that's also
Yeah.
a counter service restaurant with tons and tons of seating. But it's one of those things where I feel like Norway is a shoe-in if they ever wanted to go this route. I mean, Oriental Land Company dumps a ton of money into these parks, and that's why they get stuff like the Beauty and the Beast ride. That's why they're getting stuff like Fantasy Springs. It's just... They invest and push Imagineering to their limit, and it's great for them. I'm just looking at it from how could we easily infuse some of the same ideas? And nothing against Akershus. I love Akershus. It's just like the bones are already there. All they have to do is throw up some Frozen pictures over the walls, and meet Anna and Elsa there too, or meet them at the summer house, whatever. It's just it's so close. You can make that an entire Frozen land of Norway without completely even like changing a lot of the outside architecture. It's just interior changes. So it's like, I mean,
I
that's
got mixed feelings about this.
well, you're gonna buckle up for whenever we get to the other ones because I've got some wild takes.
Oh, I've got one.
Coming.
I've got one on one of them. Here,
All right.
so.
Well, let's. I'm ready.
So
Hurricane Hannah, she's gonna have to watch out for the hot takes.
okay.
Thanks.
Buckle up, baby.
So next we have Rapunzel's Forest, which is headlined with Rapunzel's Lantern Festival, and that is going to be a 5-minute boat ride that takes you through Rapunzel's best day ever, through highlights of the movie, and of course, I see the light with the glow of the lanterns filling the night sky.
I see the light.
Also in the land is the Snuggly Duckling Counter Service Restaurant. So that is an indoor attraction then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
No, spoilers.
Where is it at? There. Sorry.
Gotta
You
go
know,
back.
I think
There
I'd
it
rather just keep what we have. I like our toilets.
Okay. We ready?
I think she's perfectly represented.
No, I am.
You ready for the first hot
Yes.
take?
Mine's coming with Peter Pan. So
Here's the thing, and I think we're right across the street from each other right here. A slow-moving boat ride that lasts about 5-6 minutes there, and then a Snuggly Duckling counter
Pandora.
service. I feel like we've got these beautiful bathrooms in Magic Kingdom, and then you've got this boat ride sitting right next door called It's a Small World.
Oh,
that
good
feels
Lord.
like it could be the exact same idea and length as this. Also, a very tall ceiling, a very high show building that they could do a lot out with this. And then right next door to it, have the Snuggly Duckling replace Pinocchio's Village House, which is... I feel like that's on the chopping block.
That could go
and
that
you
for
still
sure.
get to keep the
And then-
SHIT.
And what's that?
No, I'm not going to repeat it.
Okay, I don't.
I
I'm not
heard
going to
it.
ask you. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it again. I think right there, you wanna take Fantasyland and toss it on upside down and turn it to the side. Right there, we have a mini Frozen Land that's just created.
Wrong
that
movie.
Keeps all.
Wrong
Sorry,
movie.
Rap-
Wrong.
Tangled. You have
My
Rapunzel
Lord.
and Tangled Land all in that stretch there that would work out brilliantly.
You're
and
just saying this gets heated.
I'm not trying to get you heated. Let's be real. It's a Small World's worst version that I've been on, and I
Correct.
think probably in the world is Florida's version. It feels
agreed.
shoehorned in.
Is there one
it's
in
not
France?
Great. Yes, and the one in France is great.
Yeah.
It's all Disneyland's to me is still number one. That
okay.
it's just
Of course.
it's perfect. France for me of the ones I've done that it's number 2. Walt Disney World's just is like it's not grand.
I'm
It's
indifferent
just-
to it. The Walt Disney World, I'm indifferent to, but there is something about the Disneyland one where you're kind of like, I do like it. Like
All
I
right.
like it, and I like the characters in it. I love them.
I
think they
do too.
incorporated
I
them
wish-
perfectly.
I know. I wish they would do that here. I feel like though. I'm like, what's the point of even talking about this? Because we know they're not going to do it. So I'm like, I don't even want to think about it. Because
I know, you're
that
right,
Disney's
yeah.
not going to do it. I just do feel
I
it in my
think we
bones.
live in a day and age where people would. It would be. I think we're starting to get in that place where like the backlash for those people. I mean,
I just don't think they would. Also, I'm just like, not to like be a broken record, but like we're going to keep. I don't know. What is that? Tom Sawyer's Island?
No,
Or we're
that's
gonna
my
get-
next hot
That's
take.
what I'm saying. Okay, and then also, not to jump too much ahead, but Tokyo is keeping Peter Pan's flight and the new stuff.
Hannah.
So,
You
I
were
mean, I'm
taking
just
my
saying,
talking points out.
Can we not just keep some? Like, can we not keep the Frozen ride in Norway and throw some Frozen in Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios?
I like it when it feels like it's all in one place.
But
That's
it's
for
not.
Me.
Frozen's
I-
already in Norway.
Well, look at
and
Little
Hollywood
Mermaid.
And
Studios.
I have
Beauty and the
issues with
Beast.
that.
Little
I
Mermaid's
have,
all over the place.
I have issues with that. I would prefer it all be
Flipping
in one
friends.
place and a lot
You don't
easier
get
with
too
that.
far.
Listen, and I will go back to It's a Small World. I think it's a fine ride for what it is. But they have to take chances. It requires gumption, and we can sit here and say it'll never happen. But I mean, I think Disney is starting to get forced into a position too where they have to think about this. They have to think about Epic Universe. They have to start making bold moves. What's going to sell people on coming to the parks? A brand new Tangled boat ride or riding It's a Small World for the 900th time where people are dropping acid and getting off the boats.
I
Which
also
one?
Do I need
think
to
that
take off my earrings and fight you?
Rapunzel is a better film Tangled is a better film than Frozen.
I would agree with that too.
It
Yeah.
does, and it has not. I mean, other than the bathrooms, it has nothing.
No,
But-
and I think I honestly think that's a shame because it's
Right.
again I'm saying I think
Also,
it was
what is that space behind there? I truthfully don't know because I know you've
septic
got.
tanks. What are you talking about?
Like behind, behind like that bathroom area. Like,
Well,
is there any room to go back, or is that Haunted
No,
Mansion?
that's where the show building is for Haunted Mansion.
Yes,
So
okay,
that's all
all right.
behind there, which that's why you have a great big show building with It's a Small World. Get rid of that. Get rid of Pinocchio's Village House.
I mean,
Tangled.
Village House can go. That's fine.
I don't have an attachment to Small World that way where I'd be like, it's whatever, but I do see it as being like a foundational Disney attraction, and I think people at Walt Disney World think it's this one, and I'm like,
I'm
it's
sure,
not this
yeah.
one. You could never get rid of that other one, at Disneyland. If they left everywhere on planet Earth, you'd have to keep the Disneyland one until the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
What we also said that would have been true of their Carousel of Progress. So we're gonna keep Carousel of Progress here to make sure it stays safe. They can keep Small World
And
to make
People
sure it
Mover.
stays safe. But I am also thinking about how you always say there's so much real estate land. Why are we not just adding?
Yeah,
why
why
are we
we
taking
gotta
away?
replace stuff? This is a big old
But
place.
it would
Because
happen
you have
faster
to look
if
at
that was
what
there.
is stale in the parks. If we would have gotten the changes to Small World that were supposed to come for the 50th anniversary,
okay, so we're
adding
gonna keep Filler
characters to
Magic.
it.
We're gonna keep all these other
So
things.
Rhino wants to go a different direction with Peter Pan.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Spoilers
Okay.
for me.
No,
Buy
let's-
Filler Magic.
Okay.
Go.
I'm fine with that.
So
Hit me with it, Rhino.
hit it. Hit her. She took off the earrings.
I took out my earrings. I'm
Slap.
ready
I'm
to brawl.
not afraid to hit her. I'm a rock star. that just to point out, that is a quote from Scott
Yes,
Pilgrim.
yes.
That is not me in real life.
But if we
Chicken
brawl at
isn't
Epcot-
vegan. So finally, Peter Pan's Neverland is packing the. Sorry, I just watched an episode of Will and Grace where Jack and Will are fighting. Jack and Grace are fighting, and Will's not because Will's like skipped town, and he goes, "Oh, Grace, I'm not like the other men in your life. I will hit you," and I couldn't stop laughing at the way he said, "I'll pull your hair," and I feel like we just had that moment.
We did.
Anyway. Finally, Peter Pan's Neverland is packing the Peter Pan peanut butter fun. I added the peanut butter, sorry. Fun with Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, a 6-minute journey where you join Peter Pan to save John from Captain Hook. Fairy, excuse me, did you write this in here because I'm reading this?
Maybe.
Fairy Tinkerbell's busy buggies shrinks guests. This is a mouthful.
Yeah.
Fairy Tinkerbell's
Pause at
busy
the commas.
buggies.
Pause
There we
at
go.
the
Yeah,
commas.
Pause at the commas. We beg you, for the love of God. Shrinks guests down to fairy size to explore a fairy valley. Yeah, this is feeling a little. Fairy Valley during its changing seasons in a 2-minute trackless dark ride that promises unpredictable directions. And if roast beef popcorn from Popcorn Wagon doesn't sound like your bag, baby, Lookout Cookout will be a counter service restaurant created by the Lost Kids. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. When I read this, but then I also was looking at the pictures you had sent us, I thought the ferry ride was actually a Neverland ride because Neverland has all 4 seasons all at once. That's why in the Hook version in the book it does. That's why
right.
In the Robin Williams movie, it's snowing in the one part with the penguins when he slides down, and then it's like
I
summer in the
remember
other
that.
part. Anyway, the greatest of all the Peter Pan's movies, Hook. But I'm
What was
saying
that word that you said for buggy?
bussy,
No.
bussy.
I don't know.
I don't even know how to say it anymore. What are words? They're all made up.
Why did we come back to that? I was like trying to keep my
Welcome
composure.
to the Fairy Valley. If anything, that's our word. You can't use it.
This
Both of you.
was
Looking at both of you.
I
Tokyo's
don't know. I
press
think
release,
Craig
not
could
mine.
use it.
Okay.
Yeah, I sometimes hate over alliteration and the repetition of words. It
Oh,
drives me
Disney
crazy,
loves
but,
it.
Yeah. I here's my proposal. Hot takes.
Hot takes.
Tom Sawyer's Island.
Gone.
Beat it. Yeah, and that becomes Skull Rock.
Awesome.
You guys get your wish, and we remove the Mark Twain, and we put in
A
the
pirate
Jolly
ship?
Roger. So they've already got the American Indians, or I guess it takes place in London, or Neverland, so they'd be the Neverland Indians that are over there.
Aren't they taking that stuff out though?
I mean,
Is that going to
they
be
probably
included?
I would not.
But I mean,
include
not to slow
that,
down
but-
your.
I was
But,
saying, I
yeah,
kind of, if it's not being removed, it's there. I do
Right.
think it should be removed. Did they remove it from the attraction yet?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, so again, I don't like the animated Peter Pan film, but I love the book Peter Pan and I love the stuff. But I do say Skull Island like Skull Rock. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like, and then
That
if
would
they
be
add the Jolly
awesome.
Roger somehow, so people could ride a pirate ship, then we also like we have our. You can make that like Neverland and do what they're doing in that concept art here with the Fairy Valley. And have it be all 4 seasons up there. Have snow, like Harry Potter Village does it. Harry Potter Village, that's not what it's called. Hogsmeade. What am I, grandparent? Is that Harry Potter's house?
Yeah.
We're looking for Harry Potter World.
Tell us where that village is of the Harry
We're in Magic Kingdom and we're looking for Harry Potter.
Yeah. No, I would say, add those 4 seasons, add the Skull Rock, get yourself a pirate ship out there. Let's remove any hurtful stereotypes of any type of people out of it, too. That would be great. I mean, this book was written, 19 something? I can't remember.
1901.
Yeah, it was right at that turn of the
complicated
century.
person.
Yeah, but I don't think the actor who played him in the film is very complicated.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Deep cut.
Finding Neverland. Seen it.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Talk about a movie that makes you cry.
Very true.
But why'd she have to die?
No, the part that gets me is when it's the older lady and they're like, "Oh, where's Mr. Older Man?" And she's like, "He's left us." And I'm like, "No." And then it's from there to the end of the film.
Really?
It's just
No,
tears.
no. It's
Yes.
but why'd she have to
Why'd
die?
she have
And
to die?
I'm sorry, son.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
just,
that's-
Guys, I'm gonna start crying while
Guys,
we're doing
this
this
has
right
been
now.
like
Oh,
the
that's-
saddest
When
show.
she's walking out into the
I can-
backyard and it just gets like
It
it
just
just fades to
transforms,
the
yeah.
white and you're just like, she did.
No, I can make Kylie cry in an instant if I just go up to her and say, "But why'd she have to die?" And I could do that before she had a child. Now it'd probably tear her apart.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Absolutely.
Movies you can't watch anymore now that you've had children.
Okay, you have a lot of great ideas there, and I love it.
Well,
I
because
love it
you got
for
you
you.
can do the cookout, get the cookout thing going, and that. What was that chicken place that was on the island?
Oh, Aunt Polly's dockside.
yeah.
Yeah, so
something.
turn that into
Yeah.
the Lost Boys restaurant, and it makes sense because we're
Yeah.
in Neverland.
Listen, I
Turn the
love
boats
it,
into little
but
pirate
for
ships.
1 second, shut up.
I love
I love everything you have to
So salty
say.
someone likes his idea.
No, so I think that's
in.
getting a little too crazy, getting a little too much of Frontierland.
What?
Liberty Square on there, it's throwing it around too much.
We can remove
Baby,
Small
you are the
World,
one who
but we
said
can't.
get rid of Frontierland
My
the other
gosh.
week.
So we're just getting a little too messy with this stuff. So I say Philhar Magic.
We had a whole episode about basically bulldozing
I
Frontierland.
think
You were
Frontierland
fine
still
about
needs
then.
to change, but Haunted Mansion in the way, it's getting a little messy. So here's my idea
All right,
with
go
this.
ahead.
I think
Okay.
Fill Her Magic goes bye-bye. Keep Peter Pan's flight how it is.
Yes,
That's
yes.
fine. We don't need the new Peter Pan ride. If anything, I think that it might be tight with the show building, but knowing that this Tinkerbell ride is only 2 minutes, this can't be, even though it's a trackless ride, it can't be that large. So maybe they can work something out where that can be in there.
I like that.
Or something else. I could also use like a Peter Pan show, something like
No,
that. Do that
so
there.
I'm going to tell you why you
and
can't do
then-
what you're saying, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Because that whole building has like 4 attractions as part of it, and if you, what I've come to understand from conversations I have had with people who worked in
got
creative,
2.
what?
2.
There's just the 2.
Yeah.
If you were touch one of those attractions, the entire building has to be brought up to code. So it's like a massive overhaul, not
But-
one thing. It has to be both.
See,
things.
the where I don't believe that though is the queue would have also impacted that when they redid that for Peter Pan's flight.
What year was that though?
I mean, 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there. It was
no,
when
it
I
wasn't that late.
I think it was.
It was.
Yeah.
When did Magic Bands come out?
2013. So
It was
right
like
in
right
that
before
period.
that. It was like right around
So
Yeah.
2012,
12,
2013.
Whatever.
So
Okay.
so they're making change. They made changes to that. So that's where I don't necessarily fully believe it. However, Peter Pan. I mean, if there is a way to make it more accessible, absolutely, I think they should go that route. But the last thing I'll say with that, to tie it in, you have Columbia Harbor House right next door. Reroute the entrance to be still in Fantasyland on the other side.
Okay.
Close up the other entrance where like the actual entrance now. Leave that exterior look the same, but inside it's a Peter Pan themed eatery that you just enter from Fantasyland. So you still
Which
still
one?
have all that Columbia Harbor House.
Okay.
So
I mean,
when you're inside
You're spilling
Columbia
over.
Harbor House,
But, like-
you can enter in it from Fantasyland. There's that one door right by Fantasyland. Go in it there, and you can eat inside. But when you're standing in Liberty Square, you're still looking at the outside of the building, looking like, oh, this is an old colonial
Yeah, but
building.
also
Creative,
I think
but-
you're forgetting some things like the colonial stuff already looks like England. So it's like it doesn't really disturb the
That
story
goes
of
against
Peter
the
Pan.
but I know, but I'm also like, it's colonial America, and now it's British.
Influenced by
What?
British architecture, though,
I mean,
because
true.
obviously
But again, why are we trying to?
they
That's
all
like
had
the best,
accents, love.
That is the best quick service, I would argue, at Magic Kingdom. Like, really,
they
we
keep-
get to keep Sonia Eclipse, but we got to get rid of Columbia Harbor
They
House.
keep the fish. What do you think the Lost Boy are eating? They're not eating each other.
Peanut butter
They're not
and jelly
cannibals.
soft serve.
No, they're eating fish. They're catching fish. Shrimp.
Fine, maybe.
Shrimp.
Lost. He's lost his marbles.
What do you think they're eating? Wood? They're eating sticks?
They're eating berries and
could be
you know,
vegetarians.
Berries? They're
Berries.
foraging berries? They'd be dead.
probably. Yeah, probably.
I'd like to
Anywho.
see that. I'd like to see that story where it's like the original Lost Boys, where they get to the island and it's that first winter, but it's told like as if they were pilgrims coming to Plymouth,
gosh.
Massachusetts.
Well,
it'll
they
take some
play the
pretty
sad
dark
song
turns, but
from-
We clearly so they wear animal skins. So at some point in time, they've killed a skunk, a bear, a small bear, a cub, not an
Oh
adult
my
bear.
gosh, that's even more sad.
Listen, I
Baby
love a
bear
good.
didn't get to live out his
I love a
life.
good veal parm. What
What's
can
that
I
have to
say?
do with?
It's so buttery on
I
my
mean, it's
tongue.
a baby, but it's not beer. Okay. Anyways, again, this goes back to the argument: why are we getting rid of the good stuff?
I'm not saying
Let's
to
just
get rid of
add
it. They
stuff.
can re-theme it to a. It already looks like the inside of a ship inside of Columbia Harbor House. Add some Peter Pan elements. You keep
Okay.
that. Keep the same menu. Bada bing, bada boom. Roast
No.
beef popcorn.
Okay, but to use.
Roast beef popcorn.
Listen, Tokyo has all kinds of
Is that your
crazy
new nickname?
popcorns. People eat that stuff. Yeah, that's my.
Not
that's
you.
my-
I meant Craig, but that's fine if you
It
want to
would
be it.
prevent
No.
me from having to bring
There
in
you go.
slices of roast beef anymore, which I always do.
Well, thank
He
goodness
does have
for
a
that.
Ziploc bag of roast beef in his
Okay,
bag.
but you had an argument where you were like, well, Disney World has gotten stale. What's going to bring people to Disney World? Retheming Columbia Harbor House? That's going to be enough?
To a Peter
Why don't-
Pan themed
Okay,
eatery.
but here's-
yeah.
Why
Here's-
don't we? I'm Team Rhino.
Listen, here's why the Tom Sawyer Island thing works too, because it still can be part of that Beyond Thunder
And it
Mountain
doesn't affect
thing.
anything.
And I can't remember what I was
Sell
about to
it.
say.
You know what?
Well, I love it for a local because if they did construction on that, like, I don't care. You
I'm-
can take us not as long as you want, but like it doesn't impact.
Oh wait, I now remember.
still ride
People,
Small World.
kids love pirates, and they're already doing that pirate experience stuff, right? Like isn't that still a thing?
I don't know
the
that
pirate
came
league?
back
that
after
didn't, yeah.
COVID. No.
I'm just
Is
disappointed.
the card still not work anymore either?
I feel like I've seen people.
I
play
saw
it. I
people
never-
crowded around a thing somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, is there a character?" But it was like,
Here's the
a
thing:
So I'm like,
Pirates
oh.
of the Caribbean is different from Pirates of Peter Pan. Those are two
Pirates of
separate things.
Neverland.
So it's the Neverland
What if
Pirates.
What if we get? Where's that crossover movie?
I'm
interested.
saying is get some gumption and let's get ready to start slicing and dicing history. Rip it, stick it, make something new.
That is not a moray for me, okay? That's all I have to
Okay,
say.
I'm done.
Anyways, also, wasn't all the stuff at Tokyo supposed to open like a year ago? Wasn't that like the early? The reason I say that is we had a trip booked to Tokyo last year. It ended up not working out for a million reasons, not Fantasy Springs not being open. But anyways, I feel like it's like a year behind. Maybe.
I don't know enough about
Now I wanna
Tokyo's
really
timelines
go.
and stuff, but
Yeah.
I do. I really want to go and see this.
I do too. I think
I
this
think it
might be
looks
a next
beautiful.
year thing.
Well, and it's the thing is that a lot of people say like on paper sometimes Disney Sea, because I'll be like, oh well, the Disney Sea park, and people are like, I don't know what it is. Like,
Oh.
but anybody who's gone, I feel like the feedback is always
It's
one
the
of the
best
most
park.
beautiful parks in the world, and
Correct.
that's where I'm like, so you got that, and then Tokyo has who opens Utopia? Shanghai.
Shanghai. Yeah, and I don't
yeah.
even care about Tokyo DisneySea from the standpoint of it's the best theme park architecture. I think my love for theme parks has moved past that at this point. I don't
Past
know
looks.
if that's
Past the looks into
I-
the roast beef
I-
popcorn.
I mean, I do think I think it was once once you start messing with sight lines and stuff. I paid attention too much to all the uproar on social media about it. Like, you're changing everything. It looks ugly now. Harmonious barges look bad. I think at that point, that's when I officially broke, and I'm like, I just don't care about this stuff anymore. If it's fun and I'm having a good time, that's all I care about.
And that's a
But-
general consensus.
and
I mean,
that's
most
where I'm
people.
at with it. So I am excited to see Tokyo DisneySea if it truly is that beautiful. But like, that's not what's driving me to get there. I just want to see how they tell their stories out there, how they use the innovation that they get, because there is no doubt that Tokyo's parks and even
What's the big
Shanghai, they
thing
get
Tokyo
all
has that we
these
don't?
new innovations that we don't. Beauty and the Beast is the latest one.
Yeah.
It's because that's also a trackless dark ride through
And
Beauty and the
that's
Beast
just-
with full animatronics and the whole 9 yards. And then, at Tokyo DisneySea, people rave about some of those attractions that have been
Journey to
there.
the Center of the
yeah,
Earth.
Is there a
exactly.
third Avengers campus or just 2?
Yes, Paris, and
No,
then
Paris
Hong
was
Kong.
the second.
Hong Kong
is the
has
third.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Also, the conversion rate, I think we talked about this briefly. They're opening up the new Fantasy Springs resort, and their rate, the conversion US dollars was $430 a night. That's a lot of money. I'm not knocking it, okay? But try to go stay at the Polynesian for $430 a night. You can't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I got to get over there. It's that flight, man.
I mean, yeah, that's the hard part.
It's a
Because
flight.
Not just the money; it's the length of that flight too. It's
Oh, I know.
insanely long. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've
a good
looked
day.
at the conversion rate for in all the
Yeah.
history of conversion rates, and we always have a better deal going to Japan. The problem is, especially on our coast, it's ridiculous to get over there. It's not like people who live on the West Coast who can be like,
Yeah.
oh, let me flight watch and I'll get a last second that goes over there. I mean, we have the equivalent that
Hawaii's the same way.
I'll see flights pop up to England that'll be like flash sale $4.99
Yeah.
for that, and I mean you could do that, or take Norse and it's even cheaper, and you just have to sit on a cardboard box the entire way there or whatever.
Not for 20
with
hours.
That. But
know.
yeah, I with that one day.
Are we all going next year? Make a pact
Now I'm
Wait, when in 2025?
this summer.
When is Star
Fantasy
Wars?
Springs
When is Star Wars Tokyo Celebration?
in 2025? I'm not going to that though. It's
I
always
didn't ask you. I'm just asking out loud.
listen. I love Star Wars.
I'm not going to
and
that, but I'm going to Tokyo.
I love
next
a good
year, for
convention,
sure.
but for me, I just don't see I think I'm over my convention phase too, where it's like you get
I'm
to
too old
spend
for that,
You
you know?
get to spend money
April.
on a ticket to spend more money
Girl,
on
what
merchandise.
is Disney?
But
I mean, I'm pretty much going to Tokyo.
I
for
liked the
March,
Anaheim
okay?
celebration because it was cool to go to the panels.
I
and
need those
stuff,
$13 mouse ears, every single one of them from Tokyo.
I-
And the crazy popcorn buckets, my little kawaii outfits.
Plus,
I need it all.
Tokyo saved the bourbon industry, so I would like to try some Tokyo bourbon.
Well, God bless them.
I went to Epcot today. You know how much I spent?
It's not fair. Did they give
That's
you a gift
not-
card?
$200.
Wait,
What? What did you
what?
buy?
I stopped at every beer stand on the way in.
You used a gift
No,
card.
I didn't.
Oh, my Lord.
I didn't spend a
And
single
then you
dime.
raced here in your car afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I drove.
Chris Williams, I hope you're still watching.
Okay, Yeah.
I think
Somebody
on that
reel this man
note,
in.
that's going to do it for this show. But thank you, everybody, for joining us here. Don't forget about Dreams Unlimited Travel when booking your next vacation. And for our Patreon supporters in the $5 and up tier, be sure to stay tuned for our post show as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and leave some comments. And if you're listening to this, please rate and review when possible. We'll see you again real soon with another episode of the This Is Unlimited podcast. We hope you have a great week. And remember, yummy, yummy.
Okay.
I will be there. So we're already live with this.
We're talking. Hello, Patreon.
plans for